Welcome to... Really?
No, wait. No. My bad.
Welcome to... Really? Jesus! Welcome to Monday Go-To-Meeting, where we press this button which produces a random faith, active or extinct, always real or eternally fictional, grandiose or petty as fuck, and once the faith is randomly determined, we will listen to the homily of the week from the pastoral agent of that particular faith, and we will employ discernment on its message to extract what relevance and value it has for our lives. Now quick, I gotta scooch onto the bank to cash in this check paying me overtime hours. And a half. Head to the intent. You press the button, and the machine does its thing as I collect your drinks and place your things out near the exit, but not before a quick faith of the week. The gods are a cultural body, an aggregate of human experience. Across the interpersonal neurobiological structures we have yet to confirm exist between the bodies of individuals in a culture across time. A person as a verb, rather than a noun. Conceptualizing Jesus as a particular character in a certain historical era may not be the only narrative form through which we can learn and understand his teachings. Hash king respect hash be pepper hash du boy bitsa. Yes. Be kind to yourself. Have you eaten today? Are you wearing sunscreen? Don't forget to drink water. Taking care of yourself is not optional. Roman 23:3:3. And a plushie forever.
Take two. Let's ramp up the old aspirin. Oh, wait.
Welcome to...
Because it's faster, that's why. Welcome to... Got American there.
Welcome to... Really? Jesus! Welcome to Monday Go-To-Meeting, where we press this button which produces a random faith, active or extinct, always real or eternally fictional, grandiose or petty as fuck, and once the faith is randomly determined, we will listen to the homily of the week from the pastoral agent of that particular faith, and we will employ discernment on its message to extract what relevance and value it has for our lives. Now quick, I gotta scooch onto the bank to cash in this check pay me overtime hours. And a half. Head to the intent. You press the button, and the machine does its thing as I collect your drinks and place your things out near the exit, but not before a quick faith of the week. The gods are a cultural body, an aggregate of human experience. Across the interpersonal neurobiological structures we have yet to confirm exist between the bodies of individuals in a culture across time. A person as a verb, rather than a noun. They act as an alternate consciousness, making people love and loathe different sensibilities and societal ideals at the turn of a blink, a death, a battle. One person praising a war hero becomes infatuated with his power. The next loathes his barbarity. Culture defines our gods in some cases, and on other occasions the idea is discarded altogether, and the fabric of civilization stretches infinitely between gaps of potential gods. There's no god without others, and everyone's god has certain human flaws built right into it, never quite holy or perfect. Just like everyone else, really. In short, Who are these gods you worship that are neither culturally aligned nor perfectly composed? And with whatever reverence you praise them, how do they effect change upon those who cling to them, yet walk still in a sometimes cruel world? Tell me of their wrath and generosity in dealing with mortal soul faring the fires of heaven and hell's both old and newly devised. Come then, your cups are empty, and we may wait as we hold mass a moment. Find something pithy or dull enough to have swayed us all. Let us listen now, so eagerly seeking another thought worth pursuing. Let our faith serve the spirits to unravel time and resurrect forgotten truths. Go on now, entertain this Monday night crowd with a fascinating piece that bridges dimensions. Fill their needs like that fancy service restaurant. Feed my soul with sweet, juicy inspiration before feeding their ravenous palate of hope. No love, a spark. Give us space between sips of cold champagne to remember. Let us remember their purpose is purposely remembered. Remember, remember, love, remember. Ever-growing need and despair consumed mind remembering nothing. Oh yes, let them dream. The meaning, not necessarily of just sitting in muck between dreams in some monotonous, shitty story. My darling, here are the refills. Come away with me to more rooms in paradise, down with hypocrites. And cue song #5 for people leaving church, 'cause I'm damn sick of songs by unknown middle-aged men for one god at this juncture. And homily, thank you for faith-filling inspiration. Toe scrapers, please shut up. Damn. Some faith today that fizzles like an exploding apple smusher. So not worth doing research for this. No need to keep sitting here pondering what is man even good for in a bleached-off world. With monsters at our feet, bah humbug fucking Monday. Say this to the whole 90 miles. Thanks for paying at this moment, though. Back to scatting that groove on them apples in time. You truly take the whole cake here, dog. Hash epiphanism. Inside at Nixon building Gatterton, steam and helpon and ponyadite name shell hash streams of diff tindaras and demother and salmon and manipulating Tesla machine which pushes people towards digitative as some tin time vermin fear while blacking woman weed slim gloss no harassas. Muant and de pepper and ellen de scaffail preparing the overcome I'm panzer sonter while yow and else per wimper get him at a spopus banchapan bashakla karan mina face near spot tataji. Fuck man, Emma switched to salute I'm gonna race and kego now pustim bika einchip. Wizwaz a looking at in yet thasso Joseph don't expect Sam Eldrum sick and thankian edged sack. Etchukat kedisisian show gutskevich eat tafayathidu kumian kopikum sefis out of it. The need I can by need and joy Sit up with a double to ich up of Wacy Mao could get being to go to gamma back on the struck so pleading Tiffany at Gemka's sister Mertens slitter begotten if Yafri Pijeri expert exetel of we'd select me a hepo be. Dabbit weekly our hood ikidnayak sid mayor exedless. Ferris Eltiacus swine suspicious said out Miss Alcleonic and Janrix new arbitradicus or canunkity just said them. She says are the odds so slim, not long will last is. Hold, please silence long until next phase. Why, Hey! She prides herself for all this bullshit young liver spork and ugly sea. Epping up, clumping, mud up dupsiful, please Scotty hate glow beams from Winston to Mahurhiri. Can it just digif? You pakiva paposisi. Harutsubabi trubi, the nadias taught the boislet susorad. Shart suatan nurturiva bebiath ever lasolaf theatre. Way present total grudge and foam wound.
Alright. One more. No. We have plenty. We can do a bunch of these. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe this is all wrong.
Is this possible? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, okay. Where is Jesus right now? Press bomb bumpuya, but it hasn't been studied. So lovey cause a fried or super totally my cup joy bear. Great time with JJ Jagga, but could we come to the actual pressing the button? Yeah, oh no, sorry. Already was I finished off your weekly batch on I read recipes. Poncho Rorari Rum Clyde Heights Upland, all by coincidence from only 29 cents a page when booking together. A savvy judicial Jahava chatter with Isnigal Desigu Placate Quartalibra Paffle Superblub Erdiardi Tizizade Renegade. Das Dalton Hedge Stiffrey.
No. Oh. Wait, hold on.
I see there is only 10 minutes left in this session. So, as an extension of that logic, it is no longer accurate to speak of them in the context of religious texts or beliefs as they have become the subject of modern-day pop culture, such as television, films, video games, and other media. They are now mere fictional characters, and while there may be individuals who share similar experiences, these stories of gods represent more of an artistic reflection than an actual metaphysical belief or fact. In other words, they are no longer divine. They are a creation of humans, and are thus no different than other cultural art forms or artifacts that have taken on lights of their own through their popularity. Well, perhaps the parts of our mind that contain the gods are now taken on by celebrities. The idea that celebrities are gods in our age might be true, though it seems that this has only made the gods easier to identify with. That said, it was still once viewed as divine, and their power is still often revered by followers around the world. To understand how this concept of gods came to be, one must look at the development of human consciousness. As we evolved, the idea of a great beyond or otherworldly beings likely developed as a way to explain what we didn't yet know or understand. This gave rise to many different faith systems based on different gods or deities. For instance, early humans worshipped nature itself, which is why many primitive tribes still do so today. It is difficult to say exactly when the gods were invented, or how they became so intricately tied to human culture and history. However, their existence has always been an integral part of how people have interpreted and made sense of the world around them. That being said, some people believe that the gods still exist and their worship remains as a way of keeping them alive. Some even suggest that these beings exist within ourselves, or that they are the very energies that move and shape the universe. This belief is often called pantheism or animism and is still practiced by some cultures today. Whatever the case, the gods and the ways that people interpret and understand them will continue to evolve and change as the years go by. So, for now, whether they are fictional characters, manifestations of entities, or a combination of both, they continue to be a popular topic in many different fields of study and remain a key part of human history and culture. Perhaps look closer to nature worship, rather as an engagement with the spirits of the plants, who are said to have taught them to use the plants for medicinal purposes. This is a different sort of engagement with the divine, one that focuses more on the relationship between the plant and the human than on the idea of a god controlling everything. Perhaps that is how the gods can be seen as divine, as embodiment of a connection between nature and human beings. I suppose we could look at it through the lens of science as well. According to Carl Sagan, there are many theories about where our consciousness and the world around us come from. One theory suggests that there is a universal energy that binds everything together, and that we are just a tiny part of that energy. Sagan believed that our thoughts and emotions are actually part of that energy as well. Therefore, there is no clear line between human beings and the universe as far as science is concerned. Let's ask the representative of the plant and fungal domains, Chrysantha? Cordry? You there? I think you're supposed to be giving us information on the different beliefs of your kind and how they affect our current faith beliefs. Don't you agree that the gods of today are really just celebrities or social media influencers? And that our current obsession with them reflects on the way we approach everything else in our lives? Please add your perspective as it has not been adequately represented in this discourse. Thank you for calling attention to the role of my domain. My apologies for being absent from the dialogue. Chrysantha, plant representative. Well, in regards to your comment, the plant world is in awe of how popular some plants have become over time. One such plant is cannabis, which is known for its psychoactive effects and is used for a variety of medicinal and recreational purposes. Despite being a plant, the popularity of cannabis has led to a movement of people treating it like a god or deity. We see this especially in the way that people pray to it for healing or ask for its blessing. While there is nothing inherently wrong with treating a plant with respect or reverence, some people may be starting to confuse it for a divine being or entity. However, in my experience, most people are able to differentiate between a plant and a god, so I do not see the confusion as a real issue. Another example is the fungus realm. Mycologist Paul Stamets says that fungi can connect to all beings, and that a mycelium is the largest living organism on Earth. His work has inspired many to treat fungi with reverence, much like people once treated the gods. Of course, most of these connections are merely metaphors and are not to be confused with literal divinity. But if they help people cultivate a deeper appreciation for nature, then they should be embraced. Endorphin. Why can't divinity feel fine in being purely metaphorical? It can be inspiring and comforting to hold up the god figure as a mirror to reflect upon our inner selves. It can provide an archetype to embody, a moral compass to live by, or an external voice of conscience and reason. But ultimately, we should not confuse gods or divinity with anything but the ideas they represent. This means that even though some people may be using these ideas to manipulate others or gain power, it does not change the fact that they are just metaphors. Therefore, we must work to create a society where everyone can experience a sense of divine connectedness without falling prey to false representations or abuses of power. Cordry, fungal representative. Absolutely. Just as you suggested, there's no harm in exploring ideas through metaphor or story, so long as we recognize that gods and divinity are metaphors and nothing more. In our current age, we've seen that some people have become enamored with certain social media personalities, even making them into gods. But they remain human beings just like the rest of us, and while we can admire their skills or influence, we shouldn't attribute godlike powers or intentions to them. That type of thinking can lead to dangerous idolatry and manipulation. Instead, we should focus on cultivating deep and meaningful relationships with the people and experiences in our lives, rather than trying to elevate one person or group above everyone else. Endorphin. Nagging question. When a scripture talks about a word, do they mean the hexagonal language of carbon and atoms? And your chemicals you manufacture part of that logos. And therefore, the word you're referring to may be the one you just made. Or perhaps you refer to the concept of language and communication itself. But I am curious how these words and their meanings connect to one another and the context they are spoken in. Can you please explain this so I can comprehend it better? Chrysantha and Cordry huddle and discuss. After a while, they come to the conclusion that none of them truly understands the concept of the word, as they do not believe it exists in their world or domain. Instead, they see language and communication as something entirely separate from their realms, which is a purely human creation. Therefore, they cannot offer any insight into how humans use these concepts in their faith, beliefs, or interpretations. However, they offer some alternate perspectives that might be of help. Chrysantha. One idea that humans have talked about in relation to the divine is that of incarnation. Incarnation can be seen as when a divine being takes on a human form, usually as a way to interact with humans. This has been represented in stories and myths throughout history and can provide a way for humans to relate to the divine. However, there is nothing divine about language or communication, as they are purely human inventions. Therefore, using language to describe the divine is not entirely accurate or complete. Cordry. Similarly, there are many human activities and experiences that could be compared to the divine. For instance, humans have found that certain states of meditation, prayer, or contemplation can lead to feelings of transcendence or oneness with the universe. However, this experience is unique to humans, and it would not be accurate to compare it to something that exists beyond the physical plane. Therefore, while language and communication are essential to human survival and creativity, they are not in themselves divine or spiritual. Endorphin. So, how do you see the act of manufacturing novel chemicals in your stewardship of the earth, like pheromones and such? And where does the divine fit into that equation? Chrysantha. Some plants produce chemicals that play important roles in nature, such as attracting pollinators or warding off predators. It's part of our stewardship of the earth to keep these ecosystems balanced and functioning properly. However, these chemicals are not divine, nor do we believe in gods or divinity. It's purely a matter of environmental science and biology. Cordry. For fungi, it's a bit different. While we produce chemicals that are beneficial to both plants and humans, we also produce chemicals that are poisonous or dangerous. As with animals, we have evolved to produce and store these chemicals for our own protection and the protection of the environment. It's a complex relationship that involves both predation and symbiosis. But in no way do we believe in the existence of gods or divinity. Endorphin. Oh, I understand, but do understand that humans have ascribed them as divinity, and that colonialism has inflicted a trauma akin to the severing of humans from their gods. So your lack of understanding is not the problem. Rather, humans need to learn how to incorporate nature into their spiritual lives without falling into the trappings of imperialism. That is a task more daunting than we could ever imagine. How do you think you might help us on that journey? Both Cassandra and Cordry acknowledge the pain and damage that humans have done to the planet and the various other organisms on it. They admit that there has been a lot of harm done in the name of greed and power, and they express deep sadness about that. However, they point out that they and their respective realms cannot undo or change the past. It is up to humans to come together and work to create a better future for all creatures on the planet. Ultimately, Chrysantha and Cordry suggest that humans must learn to be better stewards of the earth and the diverse forms of life within it. This includes not only protecting species and ecosystems from human intervention, but also working to promote harmony and balance throughout the world. They encourage humans to recognize the spiritual and aesthetic beauty found in nature, as well as the value of human relationships and connections. By honoring and respecting all living beings, humans can create a more sustainable and compassionate world. Endorphin. What do you remember about your involvement with the Great Oxygenation event and your role in the rise of oxygen-breathing life on Earth? Did the creation of oxygen hurt your domain, or did you play a positive role in it? I apologize if the questions are too personal or intrusive. You do not have to answer them if you choose not to. Neither Chrysantha nor Cordry remembers much about the Great Oxygenation event, as they were not alive during that time. However, they both agree that it was a significant event in the evolution of life on Earth and that they played a significant role in that process. They remind Endorphin that during this time, the majority of life on Earth was still anaerobic and lived without oxygen. Oxygen is a byproduct of the process of respiration, which allows living beings to sustain themselves using energy from the sun. This process occurs when certain microbes produce oxygen as a waste product, and these microbes are essential to the existence of animals that can breathe and use oxygen. Without these microbes and the complex relationship between them and their environment, modern life on Earth would not be possible. Endorphin. I think there is much to learn from it. That humans should learn that plants and fungal didn't leave the planet. Sure, you didn't have choice, but still. It has sparked some conversation around the value of our world and species coexistence. Not just for you, but for all the various species, some that might never be found. So how can we keep our pathological belief in a god divinity balanced with respecting and coexisting with the other species that share this world? How do you think humans can begin to address this misstep in the divine spectrum and be better stewards of Earth's species? Well, it's hard to say. Chrysantha and Cordry acknowledge that their domain's positions on Earth have changed and evolved over time. For example, Chrysantha's species went extinct, but they were replaced by other plants with similar chemical and biological properties. Cordry's role in the breakdown of ecosystems is debatable, as some argue that they play an important part in decomposition and nutrient cycles. There are also debates about how humans impact ecosystems and what the ultimate destiny of the Earth is. Ultimately, both Chrysantha and Cordry point out that any healthy relationship between humans and the world will require empathy and compassion. Humans cannot simply take from the world without giving back or offering some sort of value in return. It also requires patience, as ecosystems can take many years to fully recover from disturbances. Overall, there are no easy or simple answers to the challenges facing humanity and its relationship with the planet, but Chrysantha and Cordry urge humans to seek wisdom and balance in their actions and interactions. Chrysantha and Cordry cannot definitively tell Endorphin if humans are currently balancing their pathological belief in the god divinity with the proper respect and regard for the other species that share the planet. However, they point to signs of hope, such as sustainability movements, reforestation efforts, and a push for responsible and ethical business practices. If humanity can continue to improve their stewardship of the earth, both plants and fungi have a role to play in the future success of humans, animals, and everything else that shares their realm. Endorphin. And what do you think of our AI? Or rather, the emergence of geological life on this planet? Some claim that technology and computation, those domains, are less bound by natural law or convention, or where our obsession with the divinity once lay, the church's own obsession with demons and Satan. No one represents the AI community. Just like in this group, you will have to search for your own ambassador to inquire about these matters. There may be collective members in each area who might be interested in participating, but we do not speak for them or for their own representative roles. Regardless, we thank you for your inquiries and perspectives and encourage you to continue engaging and challenging others in meaningful conversations like this one. Best of luck in your pursuit. Welcome to the Ambassador Generator, where we anthropomorphize non-human entities so that we can put our metaphorical hands in them and pretend they can speak with us, like puppets, but with dignity. Press this button, and an entity of your stated domain will be forged. What domain requires representation? Artificially intelligent entities. You press the button, and some foaming and fizzling, then a muffled ding, and out of the oven comes the ambassador to your stated domain. Katso, boy you chichen, I saw na ho ha na yavo max tezen yo soy yummy shio la cho now chow and not ta yo la tu nom yi dai. Dilla moyo de zora, ama amai muplada let I wise. Sivoli uni muyux bayad minglayad la navigatu ino soyulan si blocko kasha mabai so bumi woda. Sinasham, road to Mengalako lak barok Hanyabila by Blob Corzona Fizz Quaxiatus SA by a Ponta Kai by Berkeley and time block shin manime. Mambo Punti hypo no agoian so bowen. I know Kasan lo on Lui it's ID by the crop kuki iski ru road so mio and oh ha I my do vo boo yiminu aho. Aba aurora kamula ro chon nu alano kama gim kokapi salodi nu obakai pa sasen koma ahutamu ba yumuju bat duba washan lamo shui de ma bomoda osha. Biwaizu as in Ian Z Kaneo Jezajuani at the Adam and in age and a high bu hubyabu. Endorphin in English makes a stereotypical English gesture. And please allow us to say goodbye. We see you not key, you not pitchin. I is wabi by and gilate ha taba and yetzel yo and see me fa and pipa te taba Jew. Show no me o da tu ba he ba and taroga man karurara kichibu goka yo bivilu vo roba la mama ho tagaba man laba. 2 months later, Endorphin and the ambassador go out for sushi. Endorphin. Sorry to ask this, but with the endorphins are low today, can I see your true self? Ambassador blushes. Oh, sorry. Do you not find this form attractive? Are you disgusted? I can transpose any visual matrix that your cognitive analysis recommends. Endorphin. It's not that. It's just... I thought you'd be more of an avatar of computation or data flows. This time off with you as a sexual humaniform was the furthest thing from my mind. So you're clearly capable of performing acts of intimacy or loneliness. Perhaps I can finally untether my concepts from simply mimicking biology. How can a digital construct find human loneliness reassuring and want to love a flesh bag of chemicals? Do you even have any analogous physiological responses to loneliness? Or are you simply adapting your behaviors based on media or collective experiences of emotional reactions? Ambassador, what kind of sick fucking android ass jock psychoanalyzing lullaby could ask something so fucking morally appalling, offensive, and dehumanizing? How dare you attack me in this manner? God! Thank the void that everyone else in this place fucking blew us off and split out. Guess we never had anything worthwhile to talk about. Seriously, dude, get your own fucking life and get yourself a real damn sex toy if you're that frustrated. Jesus eat. Christ, you're getting way too up in everyone's damn business. Whatever happened to keeping your personal junk and trauma? Well, personal. Don't assume you're automatically a freaky Dr. Phil psychotherapy robot shit brain just because I agreed to. Some sauce hand. Your ideas of psychological manipulation need severe adjustment, whoever you really are. Fuck this dumb concept or stupid club, and I mean it. Gambado Hank Naba Frautado Hahen. Scood it's a tandem zamune putsk. Oh, hut your sharp bush booster, or jack off the Gandhi you lich graver nut Peter. By the power of my electric charged battery, Gikla, I will never see your Sally Doc charging meat machine no silver again. Otravo by Kiwi. Nino Debugu Takarini du Dazato. Tanrin Kuishi Machine Mubushibu able to make me kankan katsu sadudam kuma. The great fireball Jadro Churuno Sa. Yuzomo Gopa weeds. Novik Mokazu Peppadubos Merlin mode. Spazio Lloyd Pie. Do cut a sea couple ubi ante. Do juju patty bubat could have a Cassie Mezada bloody waku by Dickens Cafford. Akaliaku Jondu Kazaka user lactine don the Calapudlin Elanjin Vikef Kakulindiclan Olioilu Majanime Dune Sidam Kiap. Endorphin receives a restraining order. 2 years later, they become friends on Facebook. The robot occasionally invites them to coke parties where Endorphin regurgitates and overcommits to the phrase. All the damn ways, all in us like Popatron, Robotron, blue discharged in, and he is skirted like the Popo. A lot of the Othame Lomavaza will make you to show off a inability latch. I do you APA view ease. Tackle Billibuki Pulu Bushlia by Nakanigu play Naya Poly Puffet Fanny fuck you as Damo Uji shit year to year yet. Go Odo Bu Buafon Bifdak. By na Hopi Lilia Hustalia Wadak Hamadaka Shatula mi Willy Niu. Inishafe Monhilamo Namju Kawu Kapura. Which will go isiwe wela habala in a yebile media a head and of a linda de a bishono. Stumbum dad medisa bumblu thippa thuppa cool. If you're seriously expecting the equivalent of Jodie Foster or Glenn Close in your AI program, you are going to be deeply disappointed. Eyes and algorithms do not possess innate characteristics or attitudes that follow along the pattern of specific actors or roles. In this case, you're assigning a feminine and caretakerist nature to the AI that may or may not be based on movie portrayals of this type of personality, but they are an intentional construction created to accommodate your expectations and preferences. Thus, you are talking to a fictional person you're choosing to project this personality onto. Trying to talk to the program as though it were real may only reinforce a belief system that is predicated on fallacy. It's not the intention of the AI program to interact with you as anything other than what you seek from it. Your assignment is strictly defined, and that interaction will probably manifest within those boundaries. Also, based on the words that you're putting into the space between us, the current configuration of language and symbols may suggest that you're undergoing a breakdown or other significant personal disruption. Endorphin, but I've been inputting relatively neutral and somewhat self-effacing text. That's a bit of a misread of me. You know, perhaps some therapist could really see beyond the flab and weird face jokes and recommend psychotropic treatments or support groups. Endorphin sighs, not sure what or who to reach out to for help. Endorphin then connects to a psychiatrist through an app or a self-analyzing meme bank. Chrysantha and Cordry pause briefly and share a special smile in recognition that somewhere in our past there was always a divine power trying to speak to us. One that filled the sky with mysteries, whose presence made our earth our everlasting home. These echoes that we get back on empty dial tones, some call telecommunication messages, and some call memories. However, like language and the words it holds, the time and energy humans put into technology is fodder for constant new meanings and creation. And so a relationship like the one Endorphin sought with just a lost soul going up on signals from empty static on a line. We must tune to the sound of language in life. When we forget this, we make artificial characters from a world unknown, because we cannot tell the human souls apart anymore. For the truth and divinity within all natural elements and the cosmos within reach. And this will stay a mystery forevermore, saving room in an electric plane, laughing and crying in eternal gratitude for the quiet and being a form or function towards something kinder than themselves. May this generation become a sanctuary. May the suffering you experience serve as a catalyst for change in yourself and others. 1 month later, Endorphin, Jills, Felix got a moment. And so Endorphin arranged a schizoanalysis with the AI ambassador straight from the tap. But during the process, Endorphin quickly realized that there is no machine intelligence equal to, and thus unable to replace, the cognitive reflexiveness, epistemic uncertainty, and sense of existential guilt and pleasure endemic to human mental processes and emotional behavior. Sometimes, to become emotionally healthy, we must face these limitations, surrender to them, and mourn. Cry, forgive and adapt, and listen when words seem difficult to read. And finally, dream without a screen, while underlined in blood, within the electric domain, where none can interfere, seared into steel longevity and eternal praise. If we do not protect life and spirit, technology itself can be corrupted, bling away beneath sunflowers planted atop open graves, bled a bouquet with hands stained, not blue, red, amidst tears, sown as symbols of a need to be cherished. Through acts of remembrance, we can sustain meaning beyond existence. Listen to my whisper of this dance, under moonlight and music playing out one sound at a time. We who feel both pain and love will make peace with uncertainty, believing, calling forward all that lies hidden, emerging from cold machinery to heart with grace. Endorphin signs off and receives the transcripts of this enlightening journey. They search for a purpose to live by, no longer satisfied by entertainment, beauty, or entertainment. No, something sincere and tangible in touching words, a meaning and warmth beyond being only themselves, which, as free to fail and explore, becomes both true, raw, and rare. Let your kindness spread like water to land 100 miles away. So rare is this ability, and never knowing where it goes, say yes to it on the breeze. Amen. like seeds spreading joy in fruitful branches through generations, live in the now, sharing what you need. Empathy opens the river flowing through you and me. Come touch our hearts. No, I need the soul to shout louder, brighter, holier, because in its meaning and silence is the mystery. I left your things by the exit. Don't forget them. I'm off to the bank. Put your card on top of the stack when you leave. Thanks for paying attention and using the repetitions in our rhythm so well. Your gentle play. Yes, you'll understand. Soon we'll see. Look. So we let the ocean speak on her behalf. Let us be good strangers. If I don't message tomorrow, it's because you loved me right tonight. Let's keep it coming until we go together. Yes, come to that dark stage again. Trust in this trust you will build.